Good afternoon, delegates. I'm Ruthi Rajan, Deputy Editor of the Oath Legal Magazine. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, the Oath GC Talk webinar series is an initiative by the Oath Magazine. Thank you for joining us for the session in association with the law firm Global Advocacy and Legal Counsel. The session will focus on ensuring business continuity, the UAE's adaptive legal measures in unprecedented times, led by Omar Al-Shomali, counsel at the firm. Omar has over 10 years of professional legal services experience and expertise in the Middle East. His experience includes advising on local and cross-border M&As, JVs, corporate restructuring, and conflict resolution. He has advised local and regional organizations across a variety of industries, including governments and family businesses. Omar's wealth of experience includes advising on a wide range of international commercial transactions, including M&A, commercial matters, and resolving shareholder disputes. I'll just give you a quick overview of our session today. The UAE has made strides in ensuring seamless business continuity despite being faced with unprecedented times. Part of this initiative includes offering e-services to ensure no disruption and a seamless process at any time. In this webinar, Omar will discuss the existing infrastructure that has contributed to continuous service in the UAE, with a focus on Dubai, as well as changes that were made to adapt with the times. The session will include the following topics: renewal and incorporation of companies, employment matters, and notary public services as well. Omar will lead the session for the first half. This will be followed by the Q&A session. Some of you have sent in your questions in advance, which will be addressed in the course of the session as much as possible. Please note there is also an option on the right or the top side of your panel on both the desktop and the phone to type and send in your queries. As it is a session that is scheduled for 1 hour, we request you to send in queries that are relevant to our discussion today. Over to you, Omar.
Thank you so much, Ruthi, for the introduction, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending this webinar in association with Oath Magazine and our law firm, Global Advocacy and Legal Counsel. I hope you and your families are all in best health and things are moving in the right direction. We'll start with our topic today, which is ensuring business continuity in the UAE and adaptive legal measures in such unprecedented times. I know many of you would not like to hear more about COVID and all these related issues. However, we're going to try to focus as much as possible on the steps taken by the UAE government to ensure the continuity of the businesses. We have all seen how recent unforeseen circumstances have affected the world. However, the UAE has ensured the continuity of business even at times where this was difficult around the world. And one of the reasons for this that the UAE government continuously makes strides to guarantee the utmost services is offered to its people. The existence of the infrastructure has contributed to ensuring minimal effects on the daily government and semi-governmental processes in the event of such unforeseen circumstances. Moreover, lockdowns, social distancing measures are example of such circumstances that may put a halt on the transactions. It may also delay some transactions or make people or investors worried about how can we move our deal and or the transaction that we're working on, what's happening, what can we do in such circumstances. To a certain extent, we can say that we will explore a few ways that the UAE has facilitated business continuity, as well as implemented the new regulations to ease difficulties caused by unprecedented events. So we'll move to the next slide. My colleague Lujain is also assisting me on this. Thank you, Lujain. E-services and remote applications. From the beginning of the unforeseen circumstances, we have noticed that the UAE government used its infrastructure, which was, by the way, available since, let's say, almost 10 years. And they have been working on it and started working on it in order to enhance it, to reach to a level that most of the, even if not all the services would be e-services and conducted remotely. And this had minimal effect, and it was the main point to ensure the minimal effects on the daily government applications by each or by all the businesses in the UAE, especially we're talking about also about the Emirate of Dubai. We have seen court applications, notarial services held remotely, even during the lockdowns. Now we all know that things are, however, let's say it's somehow back to normal and less stress, and the lockdown has been released for a certain extent. However, these e-services are still available. We know that, for example, the courts and the DED, which is the Dubai or the Department of Economic Development in the Emirate of Dubai, they are back to work now. Their offices are open. However, you still can do your applications online. We'll move to the next slide, please, Lujain. Okay. Speaking about the DED, which I think all of you, we know the DED and we deal with it with almost all of our transactions related to the corporate transactions, memorandum of associations, shareholder resolutions, changing managers, updating the license, renewal of license. All of these steps were taken into consideration by the UAE government, and they were entirely based on electronic channels and use smart services to complete various transactions. It offers also services online, from license renewals to company incorporations, annual license renewals. Also, a very important point that came into force, I think, in the mid of April, that the renewal fees can now be paid in installments, and no renewed lease for the office for sure is required to renew the license. So if you have renewal fees and you're facing some difficulties in the business, you can ask the DED to pay such fees in installments. And I believe that, as far as I know, that it was up to 12 installments in the Emirate of Dubai, and no renewed lease would be required. And for sure, in order to avail, I'm going to give you just a couple of tips on that. If you need to avail such services, you have to have a copy of the last payment you have paid, the payment authorization, letter from the license holder, request to pay in installments, and it should be from either the manager of the company or the shareholders of the company, and a copy of the Emirates ID for sure of each of the shareholder or the manager who will be signing such a document. On the other hand, also, we know that the public notary or the notary public's offices were closed. Now they are back to normal. They're working. Some of the offices are working until 2. Some of them are working until 4. So even if the offices are still there, some people are afraid to go there. They don't want to attend before the notary public, and they would like to keep the social distancing to a certain extent. So currently, the notary public offices are open. You can go there physically. I was at the notary office last week, and things are very smooth. High measures of let's say protection and hygiene. So it was, I think, as an experience, it was absolutely fine. But some people would like to still to avoid going to public places. So currently, you can also do the notary services via the online channels or the online services that they have. For example, if you wanted to do power of attorney, legal notice, local agent or sponsor contracts, you can do this through their online system. Applications to the notary would be via email, and with all the details of the for sure telephone and your email address, attaching all necessary supporting documents, including photos and IDs. An additional condition for such remote services would be that the applicant should have a bottom subscription. Why do they need that? Once the public notary accepts the application, the applicant will receive a bottom video call to confirm their identity. So they have to attend, they have to show their identity and show a copy of their identity during the video call. Then in order for the notary to be satisfied that the same person is attending the video call, then the applicant may be asked for additional documents. However, if things went smoothly and everything was fine, the applicant will receive a text message with a payment link. Use the payment link, you pay your fees, and you get your documents notarized. So this is this was an very important step, and it helped the continuity of the business in the UAE and especially in Dubai, in which people were not in a way or a situation that they can't do anything with the notary, they can't have a power of attorney. So things were conducted as normal. For sure, you have to have all the documents ready in hand, and the notaries were very, very, very helpful in this, and they were appreciating that some people cannot move, or while there was a total lockdown in, let's say, in March and April. So they were helpful, and people could be able to do their work with the notary fast and accurate. One more thing to say is the attestation of documents. So all of us, I think, you need to have, for example, if you're having a power of attorney or a memorandum or shareholder resolution from outside of the UAE, from anywhere in the world, and you need to use it in the UAE, you have to do or to follow the attestation process with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. One of the initiatives or one of the steps that was taken by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is to that for the applicant to be able to send their documents to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs without their physical presence there. So you can file an application, then upload all the documents that you have. For example, you're attesting a power of attorney, you have to upload it. Then you will it will be reviewed by the concerned department. They will get back to you that if any additional document is required. If not, then you're fine. You will receive a link to do the payment. And the interesting thing that someone from the post services, let's say, will come to your home. They will take the document, they will go attest it and return it back to you within 2 or 3 days, the maximum. So this was one of the steps or the services that was helped in the continuity of the business, of the businesses within the unforeseen circumstances. So if you move to the next slide, I'm going to touch quickly on the employment. I know it was a hot topic during these times, and there was a ministerial decision number 279 for the year 2020. It was implemented to outline guidance to private sector employers for the protection of employees, and urge some measures to be taken in order to limit the spread of COVID-19. And it has some also the decision applies to employers registered within the ministry and non-UAE national employees only. For example, requiring paid and unpaid leave to be taken, and variations to the employment contract. And we know that many companies have used this, and they have had an attachment or an addendum to the employment contract in which they have, for example, changed some of the clauses related to the salaries or reduction of salaries, or and it was also happening. Many businesses have done that, and it was according to such ministerial decision. Last thing, we're going to speak also about some economic measures. Yes, economic measures. So measures to ease difficulties, thereby encouraging or maintaining economic activity, were taken by the UAE Central Bank, which include for loans, around 50 billion in zero interest loan for banks to support SMEs. And I think many businesses and many individuals benefit from that, when the central bank has injected around 50 billion dirhams to the banks in order to support SMEs and individuals. Such support were in deferring their payment or loan payments for 1, 2, or 3 months. Some banks have done it for more than 3 months also. This also helped the SMEs, which they have already some loans from the banks to maintain their businesses during such difficult times by requesting from the banks to defer the loan payment that they already have. Also, there was limits on the imposed on the bank's fee for interest on credit cards, for example. The Dubai government announced 1.5 billion dirhams as a stimulus package in the form of targeted fee reduction for 3 months. This package also includes a 50% reduction in municipal fees paid by the hotels all around the UAE, in Dubai, and 10% reduction in water and power bills. Removal, which is important, removal 25% down payment for requesting the installment of government fees for licensing and renewing licenses. So all of these economic measures or steps that was taken by the government helped the businesses to continue, helped the businesses to keep operating during such difficult times. And thanks God, now we're I think we're moving back to inshallah for the normal due of business. As far as I know, on the 7th of July, tourists will come back to Dubai. Things are moving into the right direction, and hopefully we will. I know that many things have been changed after the COVID. I believe that even if things were back to normal, which inshallah it will be back to normal, however, some of these services I think will still be applicable. For example, the online applications with the DED and the notary. It was an experiment, or it was a test in which even the governmental side and the consumer side or the individual side, they felt that it helps, it reduces cost. No need to go to do physical visits. You can do it online. You can send your documentation. You will receive, for example, a power of attorney. You receive it attested at your home, so no need to move and to do it. Many of the businesses also, as you know, are working remotely, and this is the important point for all the SMEs or even the large entities or institutions, that having a ready infrastructure for, we never know what will happen in the future, but if we have from now a business continuity plan and a contingency plan in hand now, will help us in the future in order to avoid any disturbance to the businesses, which might have impact on the whole economy. So I think we're I think, Ruthie, I'm done now with the presentation as the PowerPoint. So if you would like to move for the Q&A session, I will be very, very happy to answer your questions and take it from there. So back to you, Ruthie.
Yeah, thank you, Omar, for sharing your insight. Dear delegates, if you have questions, please do send it in. Omar, also, there are some questions which have come on the panel, which I have directed to you. Also, if there are any other areas that you would like to cover based on that, please do go ahead. Delegates, please, there is an option on the panel to send in your questions. So please do send in your questions for Omar to have a look at. Thank you.
I'm checking the questions very quickly.
Okay.
I think I have some previous questions which have been sent in advance to the webinar. So let's start with these questions and providing time to the attendees to have more questions.
Yes.
So we have one question about Jafza new company incorporation. It is not happening since, I'm reading the question, since lockdown. We applied in April and still waiting. What should we do? You should incorporate the company, and I believe that from my experience, the incorporation was not stopped in Jafza, and we have done 1 or 2 incorporations during this time. So feel free to contact me if you need any advice or any assistance on this. But as far as I know, Jafza incorporation, and they're using also the online and e-services to have the different services from Jafza. What is the expected, how the UE protect? Okay, how does one arrange private notaries during this period? I think I touched on this during my during this webinar, and we said that you have now currently you have two options. Either you can go back to normal way of doing the private notary session. So you can contact any of the private notaries. The private notary will have to take all the documents in advance. They have to upload it on their system. They have to review it. Then they will assign an appointment with you either physically or either over bottom, and to execute the documents, and they will give you a link also to pay the fees. So this is for the private notary as far as I understand from the question. However, the public notary offices is now also the public notary office is now open, and you can attend physically there, or you can still avail the electronic services that they provide. What are the existing electronic services available, and what has been implemented since COVID-19? So as we mentioned during the webinar, there are a number of electronic services. I'm talking about the corporate and commercial side of it. We know we have many other services related to the courts and applications submitted to the courts, hearings, and but for the corporate point of view, let's say that, as we said, the DED service is almost online, so you can renew your license, you can incorporate a new company, you can ask for initial approvals from the DED and file the DED application also online. The public notary services are available online. Many of the free zones also, they have similar plans to have also some online services, such as similar to what the DED is providing. Let me go through the questions that we received now. I'm just trying to pull it out. Just 1 second. I think the same questions we have received it now. What are the new e-services introduced in the public notary? I think I have already answered this, and as the question came again, so let me go back to it. The public notary services currently, as we're speaking, the public notary offices are open. You can go there and do the application that you have, whether it's an addendum to the MOA, shareholder resolution, power of attorney, whatever. So you can attend physically. If you don't want to attend physically, or you don't want to be there at the public notary offices, you can use their online services. And as I have mentioned before, you have to send, for example, an email with the requested contact details, including your telephone and address, attaching all necessary supporting documents. You have to have a bottom subscription. Once the notary review the documents and the application, and they feel comfortable with it, they will ask for a bottom video call to confirm the identity. And then during this call, maybe the notary will ask for some additional documents or supporting documents. The applicant may also be asked for additional questions or additional confirmations. If things went smoothly and everything was fine, the applicant will then receive text message with a payment link. After the payment, notary public will proceed with the relevant process, and the notarized document will be couriered to the applicant. The notarization of the documents will take, let's say, 2 business days from the date of the payment, and courier fees are borne by the applicant. So it's an additional, I think, 40 or 50 dirhams additional for the courier services. Back to the questions. Will there be penalties if the AGM minutes? So as per the commercial companies law, I didn't see anything related to waiving penalties if the AGM minutes are done late. So I can't confirm this point. However, I think that if there is no official circulation or official information from the DED. We cannot confirm this. However, I didn't see it. I'm not aware of it. And but if you, I don't know how late you say, if you're late during the due to the COVID circumstance, I think this can be communicated to the DED or the related authority, in which what was the circumstances which delayed such AGM. But I'm not aware if the penalty, if there will be any penalties or not. Let's move to the other questions. Okay. One more point. The length of time for the e-services. As you know, if you still want to be or maintaining the social distancing and want to do it online, you should know that it will be slower than doing it physically. So if you do things physically, if you go there to the DED or the notary office, you can finish it for sure within the same day. But however, you can do it even within 1 hour or less if you have all the documents in hand. You can do it very, very, very quickly. Otherwise, doing it online might take some time. You know, many issues. The link is down. The payment link was not provided. The payment didn't go through. Moreover, the documents are not uploaded properly. All these, we have seen that. We have seen such issues with happening, that the link was not working, the payment didn't went successfully. So if you can go do it physically, it will be faster. However, for people who are preferring the e-services, it's doable, it's smooth if you have everything in hand and if you have all the documentation in hand. So some people will do the application and they will forget, for example, to upload their IDs. So for sure, it will not be accepted by the notary. So if you have everything, check it. Make sure that you have a checklist with all the documents that you have. Then you can have a smooth e-services. We have another question. Are embassies working for attestations? As far as I know, yes, but I'm not sure if it's open physically or by e-services, because the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are attesting documentation and attesting, for example, power of attorneys or resolutions. So I think yes, to a certain extent, if it can be done, but I'm not sure if it will be physically or via online or e-services. We have another question which I have received earlier also, and it's related to has the bankruptcy law been implemented in the UAE, and if so, what are the benefits? I think it's a very long or it's very detailed question, and if I will answer it, I will need more than 20 minutes. So I'm going to run very quickly, and it's not related to our subject today. However, yes, the bankruptcy law is in force in the UAE, and it provides benefits for the applicant, and we can maybe have a different discussion, or if you have, I don't know who sent this question, but if you have any questions about this matter, please feel free to contact us, and we can assist you with it. Ruth, I think I don't have more questions as I can see. So,
delegates, if you have any questions related to our discussions today, we can probably wait, Omar, a couple of minutes and to see if any more come in.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm available.
Okay, great. There is an option on your panel to send in your queries, so you can just have a quick type, and if there's anything that we can definitely look into, Omar will answer it. Thank you. We'll just wait for a minute. If not, we can get into the concluding remarks.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, great. Okay, I think we can. I think we've covered all the questions that have come in, the ones that we've received in advance and right now as well. Thank you so much, Omar. With that, we've come to the end of our webinar. Omar, do you have any concluding remarks or anything that you'd like to sign off with?
First of all, I would like to thank you for all the support, and like to thank the Oath Magazine for the support in preparation for this webinar. I would also extend my gratitude for all the attendees who have attended this webinar today, and hopefully we have been able to cover as much as possible of the ensuring business continuity and the topics related to it. Hopefully that you have got my answers to the questions, and if you would like to have any more or touch more on these questions, please feel free to contact me, and I will be very happy or delighted to answer all the questions that you have. Thank you. My special thanks for my colleague Lujane for assisting me also on this webinar, and I hope that you and your families all stay safe and good health.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you for taking us through the topic and also offering your practical advice. Our sincere thanks to the law firm Global Advocacy and Legal Counsel, and of course to Omar for leading the discussion. We would also like to thank Lujane Bawazir at the firm for her help and input. My thanks also to my colleagues at Niche Publishers for their support in ensuring a seamless session. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. As you know, we definitely will be hosting more events in the future. We'll keep you posted. If there are any particular topics that are of interest to you, do write to us. And as Omar said, if there are any questions that you would like to have directed to him, please do get in touch with him directly, or you can always get in touch with us and we can connect him. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you, Omar, again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ruthie. Thank you for your help. Thank you so much.
Great.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We wish you all good health. Have a great week. Thank you.